Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
Just a friendly reminder from your neighborhood dietitian, it does not matter the shape and size of your body. If you want to eat tacos, you're allowed to eat tacos because tacos are delicious. In fact, one of the best ways to heal your relationship with food is to actually give yourself permission to not only eat foods that you enjoy, but take the time to enjoy the eating experience. Like so. I've got a taco, I'm gonna eat a taco, and it's gonna be delicious, and it's gonna be an enjoyable experience.
Hello, my strange little onions. You asked, so I'm delivering part 48 of creepy conservative men who come into my DMs because they think I'm a woman. Once upon an Instagram DM notification. Hey, princess, he said. I am not a princess. I am your queen, and you will speak to me accordingly. I said. Okay, baby, he said. You still seem confused, I said. I am not an infant, I am a full-grown adult. If you're going to refer to me, please use Your Royal Highness or Your Majesty, I said. LOL, babe, you are hilarious, he said. This is a very simple concept. I don't know why you're not grasping it. You should have worded that sentence. Your Majesty, you are very funny, I said. Babe, this bit is getting less and less funny every time you do it. He said. Your Royal Highness, I corrected. You are exhausting, he said. Your Majesty, you are quite tiresome, I said. LOL, it looped around into being funny again, he said. Your Majesty, would you like to see my crown jewels? He asked. No, I said. Too late, he said, which I found puzzling because he had yet to send the photo. A moment later, a photo popped up. It was of his ding-a-ling. For reference. I did not reply. Well, he asked. What do you think? Hey! Exclamation point. You're being really rude, he said. You're being really rude, Your Majesty, I said. Fine, Your Majesty. What did you think of the picture? He said. My jewels are better, I said. I bet they are. Show 'em to me, Your Majesty. No, I said. How about just a picture of your face? He asked. We are on Instagram. Just go look at my page, I said. He came back very angry. Why didn't you tell me you were a fairy? He said. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not a fairy. I already told you. I'm a queen. He was typing frantically, so I took the opportunity to block him, robbing him from having the ability of having the last word or insulting me. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please interact with this video so I stay on the right side of TikTok. I love you.
Let me out! Let me out! This is not a dance! I'm begging for help! I'm screaming for help! Please come let me out! Let me out! Let me out! This is not a dance! I'm begging for help! I'm screaming for help!
If my wife lets herself go after I have kids with her.
I do portrait photography, and my wife once asked me why I don't edit her photos the way I edit my client photos. And I didn't know what she was talking about. And she said, you know, you take off all of their flaws and their wrinkles and everything else about them. And I was like, I do the same to yours. And she was like, no, you don't. And it took me a while to realize that I can't edit her photos because there are no flaws. Every flaw that she sees is part of our history. Everything she doesn't like about herself reminds me of our 3 beautiful children. And I just can't fathom thinking the way this guy in this video thinks.
Okay.
Yes, if you have ever benefited from not dieting anymore and having access to weight-inclusive care, we could really use your help right now. And that's because the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is unsurprisingly, back on their bullshit. They are currently trying to push through some new recommended statements in our EAL, which is the Evidence Analysis Library. This is a tool that dietitians have access to that is essentially a bunch of practice guidelines that is supposed to be based on the best available evidence. And the issue with this newest set of proposed recommendations is that they are baked full of weight stigma and contain a really willful misrepresentation of HAES, or health at every size. So the public comments are open until March 25th, and they are specifically asking for input from non-dietitians. So if you have a story or experience in this space and are willing to venture into those toxic waters, they really need to hear from you and why it is so harmful and dangerous to include basically a prescription for disordered eating in their practice guidelines for dietitians.
Patriarchy shames women for being sexual, and capitalism sexualizes women. And the fact that capitalism is also operated by patriarchy tells us something really important. Women's sexuality is viewed as a resource, a profitable one. So patriarchy shames women for owning it because men want to be the ones that capitalize on it.
Like, do you really want to spend the rest of your life trying to shrink your body? Like, is that really gonna make your life fulfilled? Like, is that gonna make you happy? Is that really going to bring you happiness? To just constantly be trying to make your body smaller than it already is. I know that that's really hard to wrap your brain around right now if you've constantly been in this diet mindset. But, like, no one that truly loves you and cares about you cares what your body looks like. And if they do, then they shouldn't be in your life. If they care that you gained a couple pounds, then, like, fuck them. Get them out of your life.
So many things wrong with this comment. One, fat is not a bad word. People, there's body diversity, which makes the world beautiful. I don't want everyone to look like me. But also, no one's thinking of any excuses, and it is so much more complicated than somebody not taking proper care of themselves. Somebody can be taking proper care of themselves, feeding their body great food, moving in a way that feels good to them, and they can still be fat. There is such a thing as body diversity. Not to mention that diet culture and doctors and nutritionists have fucked people up, led them the wrong way by having people restrict themselves, which can lead to damage, slower metabolism, just like placing food on a pedestal. There's so much. But also people can think that they're properly nourishing themselves and they can actually become really ill with an eating disorder. Not to mention that sometimes people don't have the financial means to feed themselves properly. Maybe they're working 2 jobs and they can't go to the farmer's market, so it is not easy.
If you are someone who observes Lent, listen up. Lent is just around the corner, and it is common practice for people to give up something for Lent. And a lot of people tend to give up food items of some sort for Lent, but I'm going to encourage you not to. When we spiritualize food restriction, it can seem like we're adding God's endorsement to the diet industry that tells us we will be better and more worthy of love if we eat less and lose weight. Which is a lie! So what if instead you gave up negative self-talk? What if anytime you're tempted to say or think something negative about yourself, about your body, about who you are, you replaced it with an affirmation of something you love about yourself? Or with a prayer that God would help you see yourself through God's eyes as the beautiful, beloved child of God you are.
People who don't have eating disorders don't generally spend a lot of time and energy wondering whether they have eating disorders because they don't have eating disorders.
I'm not sure what all you Republicans want from the rest of us. Like, I really don't. You don't want us to take a knee to protest, put up a fist to protest. You don't want us in the streets to protest. You don't want us to riot and protest. You don't want 3 or more Native people to protest. You don't want none of this. But yet when you guys want to protest over stupid shit like masks, you guys bring out the guns, you storm the Capitol to protest, you spit in people's face to protest, you beat people up to protest, you kill people to protest, you run people over to protest. A mask. Do you realize that we're not protesting the same damn thing? We're protesting for our lives. You're protesting because you're a whiny little bitch. and I'm so over with it. I don't know what the hell you want, but I have a feeling you ain't gonna get it, and you're definitely not gonna get it from me. And I do not give a shit if I get banned from every social media. You cannot shut me up.
If you develop an eating disorder when you are already thin to begin with, you go to the hospital. If you develop an eating disorder when you are not thin to begin with, you are a success story. So when I evaporated, of course, everyone congratulated me.
Here's your daily reminder that there is no size requirement to fitness. I'm now in a larger body as I have been most of my life. I used to think fitness was just about punishment for eating bad or a way to burn calories in order to lose fat. Now I realize that fitness can be so much more. It gives me mental clarity, aids in my depression, and strengthens and tones my body at every size. I encourage you to find ways to move your body that bring you joy.
No Nuance November Rapid Fire Dietitian Edition. Cauliflower rice is not rice. Your body does in fact know that. Water will never satisfy hunger. Ever. Health professionals that use BMI should be embarrassed. Dark chocolate tastes better than milk chocolate. I think most people aren't eating enough or consistently enough versus eating too much. White wine is icky. Nutrition research, weight research will never really represent real life. It's embarrassing that we have an entire industry based on telling people to eat less when food insecurity runs rampant across the globe. Calories shouldn't be on food labels. Thank you.